can I just say one thing firstly? I love the name Eat Sleep Boxing Repeat.
Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Thomas Cathy. This is a prediction video for the fight taking place at 154 pounds in Orlando, Florida, between Yoenis, Tellez and Abass Baraou for the WBA interim world title. Bit of confusion between ourselves, Thomas, whether it's for the interim title or the actual world title. Why it's not for the world title? It's confusing. Terence Crawford hasn't defended that belt for a year. He's probably not going to defend it again. But yeah, that's not what this video is about. I'll hand things over to you now. What is your final prediction for this one?
Yeah, I see Yoenis Tellez winning by decision. I know he's gotten he's had a few impressive knockouts and everything, but I think that Abass Baraou it will be just, he's not really much of a known commodity in boxing, but he's no slouch either. He's had wins over Carlos Molina, who's fought like a who's who at 154. He has a win over Sam Eggington. And his only loss was a close fight against Jack Colque. So I think he will be just tough enough to go the distance against Tellez. And also, I think the fact that Tellez went the distance with J. Rock Williams, who, at this point is a little bit shop worn and has always been chinny and has been stopped 3 times. I think if you were a real knockout threat, you would get someone like J. Rock Williams out of there. As good as a fighter as J. Rock is, I think at this point, if he was a real knockout threat, he would have gotten him out of there and not allowed that fight to go the distance. But anyway, I expect Tellez nonetheless to win a wide decision here. I think he's leagues above Baraou, so I expect him to win handily.
Interesting. Yeah, I think to add to what you've said, Baraou, I think I've been ringside for one of his fights. He fought at York Hall a couple of years ago. But his last fight was June 2024. So I always get nervous when fighters are out of the ring for over a year. Like, how rusty are they going to be? Why have they been out of the ring for over a year? It always makes me a bit nervous. So I don't think I'm as confident as you are, Thomas, but I'll go for Tellez to win. I think he's had an interesting start to his career. Real standout victory to me was when he was in his 6th fight, when he beat Sergio Garcia, destroyed him in 3 rounds from what I remember, which I don't think there's many people who are capable of doing that in their 6th fight. Sergio Garcia is a good, solid fighter. But no, it's an interesting one. I think this it's the most intriguing fight on that card in Orlando. It's a good card as well. But yeah, looking forward to it. I will join you on points, but I think he could drop Baraou whilst on his way to victory, but we will see. We always talk about the 154 division, don't we, Thomas? It's a frustrating but a fantastic division. Somehow Terence Crawford is still the WBA champion. Sebastian Fundora looked great in his last couple of fights. Virgil Ortiz is still waiting to kind of fight for a legitimate world title. No one seems to want to fight Murtaza Aliyev. There's a lot going on in the division, but at the same time, there's not a lot going on in the division. This is for the WBA interim. We expect if Tellez or Baraou wins this fight, their next fight will be either defending it because they would have been elevated as champion, or they'll be defending it or they'll be actually fighting for the belt next time. How does Tellez get on against the other world champions? Because there are some tough fights there. I like putting you on the spot, Thomas. I want to like Fundora. That's a possible unification fight in the future. Would you edge towards someone in that fight?
I would probably edge towards Tellez just based off of skill level. But I would like to see him fight. I don't know. Perhaps compared to someone like Virgil Ortiz, maybe that's a better matchup for him. Even though Virgil doesn't hold the world title, even though probably Fundora would be a better matchup out of all the other champions in the division for him. Murtaza Aliyev is a risky one. Probably want to steer clear of him. I think everyone wants to steer clear of him. So yeah, I would edge towards Tellez in a matchup against Fundora, but I think that's probably it's the most probably the most winnable one for him. Although Fundora has been looking really good lately, so um, yeah, that would be a great matchup, and it would make sense because um, they're both with PBC, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that one next.
Yeah, no, look, we'll see. There's a lot of there's a lot of exciting fights for Tellez out there, aren't there? I think I hope he doesn't turn into one of these guys that people don't want to fight because maybe he's not a massive name compared to some of the other fighters in the division. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I think on the Ortiz thing, Thomas, because Virgil Ortiz is a fantastic fighter. But you want to see him in a big fight in a big fight in at 154. He's been in some already, if we're being honest, but he's such a fantastic talent. Do you think that would you describe Tellez as his biggest threat? Partly because maybe there's the unknown factor, but partly because he's very good as well. Would you agree with that? Do you think there's someone out there who can give Ortiz a bigger matchup at 154?
Man, that's a good question. I think that would be a tough one for him. The thing about Ortiz, I really do think he's probably the best, the best non-title holder in boxing, in my opinion. Like, I think I don't know how he doesn't have a belt yet. I think he's on championship level, but he doesn't have a belt. And I think that perhaps Tellez probably would pose a significant threat to him. I think that Ortiz would probably beat Fundora. I think he would probably beat Murtazaliev as well, although that is a risky one because he's a big puncher. We can't factor in Terrence Crawford anymore, so we'll just leave him out. But yeah, I guess Tellez probably would be his toughest challenge because he's a very skilled fighter. So it would be interesting to see how that would play out.
Yeah, no, fantastic. All right, we'll leave it there as always. Look, I mean, Tellez has to get past Abass Baraou first. A difficult fight, as you said, Thomas. I think you're more competent than I am, but we will see what happens. Thomas, good to be joined by you as always. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your final prediction, and I'll speak to you again very soon.
Likewise, thank you.